You're in a conversation, in English. Everything is going well. And then, someone asks you a question, and your brain just stops. You know the answer. It's somewhere in there. But the words won't come. You open your mouth. Nothing. 5 seconds pass. 10 seconds. The other person is waiting, and you feel your face getting warm. This has happened to every single person who has ever learned a second language. Every one. And today, we fix it. For good. Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak with Hailey, the American English podcast that meets you exactly where you are. I'm Hailey, your guide, and Leo, my favorite co-host, is here with me.
Hey everyone, Leo here, and I need to say, this episode is personal for me. Very personal.
Tell them why.
Because I am the master of the blank mind. In my own language, I can talk for 3 hours. In English, sometimes I open my mouth and I sound like a broken computer. Just loading, still loading.
And today, we're going to solve that completely. We have 5 phrases, real American English phrases, that work like a pause button. They give your brain the time it needs. They keep the conversation alive. And here's the beautiful part. When you use these phrases, you don't sound like you're lost. You sound thoughtful. You sound natural. You sound like someone who takes their words seriously. And that is a wonderful thing to sound like.
I want to sound like that person.
By the end of this episode, you will. Quick thing before we dive in. If you've ever felt that frozen moment in English and you want it to stop, subscribe right now. We have new episodes every week, and every single one is built to make you more confident. Okay, let's go. Okay, Leo, let's talk about the blank mind. When does it happen to you? Give me a real example.
Okay, so last month, my manager, her name is Karen, she stops me after a meeting and she says, "Leo, what's your take on the new project timeline?" And I know what a timeline is. I know what take means. It means opinion. I know the project. I know everything. And my brain just went on vacation. I stood there. I think I said, yes?
Yes. To what's your take?
She looked at me like I was a very confused puppy.
Okay, so here's what was happening in that moment. And this is important, so listen carefully. Your brain was doing 2 things at once. It was trying to find the right words in English and trying to think about the answer at the same time. That's too much. Your brain got overloaded and it froze. This is not a language problem. It's a processing problem. And the fix is simple. You need a phrase that does one job. It buys your brain a few seconds without stopping the conversation. We call these filler phrases or thinking phrases. And the first one is the most powerful one I know. Phrase 1. That's a great question. Let me think about that for a second. This phrase does 3 things at once. It complements the question, which feels warm. It announces your thinking, which is honest. And it gives you 3 to 5 seconds of natural pause time. In American professional English, this phrase is used constantly by managers, by teachers, by politicians. It doesn't sound like you're lost. It sounds like you're careful. Say it slowly and confidently, and it buys you all the time you need.
Wait, so if Karen asks me, "What's your take on the timeline?" I just say, "That's a great question. Let me think about that for a second. And that's okay?
Not just okay, that's great. Karen will probably nod and wait. She might even say, take your time. You went from confused puppy to thoughtful professional in one sentence.
Wait, so if Karen asks me, what's your take on the timeline? I just say, that's a great question. Let me think about that for a second. And that's okay?
Not just okay, that's great. Karen will probably nod and wait. She might even say, take your time. You went from confused puppy to thoughtful professional in one sentence.
I'm going to practice that right now. That's a great question. Let me think about that for a second. Hailey, I feel more intelligent already.
Good. Now, what if it's not a question? What if someone says something and you just didn't fully understand? Maybe they spoke fast. Maybe they used a word you didn't know. And now you need a moment to process.
Oh, this also happens to me. Someone says a long sentence very fast, and I catch maybe 60% of it. And I don't want to say, what? Because I already said what 2 times in this conversation, and I feel embarrassed.
Right, and what by itself can sound abrupt, a little rude even, depending on the tone. What you want instead is something that sounds engaged, not confused. And that phrase is phrase 2. Sorry, just to make sure I understand, do you mean... Just to make sure I understand is a magical phrase in American English. It signals that you're paying close attention, not that you're lost. Then you repeat back what you think you heard, or you ask a small clarifying question. This turns a moment of confusion into a moment of active listening. Native speakers use this all the time. It's a sign of intelligence, not weakness.
So instead of what, I say, sorry, just to make sure I understand, do you mean the deadline is moving?
Exactly. And now the other person feels heard. They feel like you're taking them seriously. And you get to confirm you understood correctly, which is also just good communication in any language. Okay, those 2 phrases are for professional moments. But what about social moments? The blank mind happens at parties too, right?
Oh, it's worse at parties. At work, you can at least pretend to look at your laptop. At a party, you're just standing there with your mouth open.
Okay, give me a party situation.
Okay, a few weeks ago, a friend's birthday party. I'm talking to a woman named Sarah. She seems nice. We're talking about movies. She says she loves a movie called, I don't remember the name, something very American. And she asks, oh my gosh, have you seen it? What did you think? And I haven't seen it. And I don't know the movie at all. And I also didn't hear the name clearly. So I just smiled and said, yeah, it was good.
You pretended to have seen a movie you haven't seen?
And then she asked me about a specific scene. And I described a scene from a completely different movie.
Leo.
I panicked.
Okay, so the good news is that the fix for this situation is actually really fun to use. And it's completely honest. When someone asks about something you don't know, a movie, a show, a book, a news story, you don't need to pretend. There is a phrase that is warm, curious, and keeps the conversation going beautifully. Phrase 3. I haven't seen it yet. Tell me about it. I love hearing what people think. I haven't seen it yet. The word yet is doing something clever here. It doesn't mean you're planning to watch it. It just softens the statement and makes it sound casual, not like an admission. Tell me about it flips the conversation. Now the other person is talking, you're listening, and you look genuinely interested. I love hearing what people think, is warm and specific, and makes Sarah feel like her opinion matters. The blank mind disappears because now your job is just to listen.
Oh, that's clever. Because now Sarah is happy. She gets to talk about a movie she loves, and I just have to nod and say, "Oh, really?" a few times.
And, "oh, really?" is one of the most useful phrases in American English, by the way. We'll come back to that. But yes, you've turned your blank mind into active listening, which is actually a social superpower.
Wish I had this at that party. Sarah and I could have been friends.
There's always the next party. Okay, next situation. This one is a little more vulnerable. What about when you're in the middle of saying something? Your English is going fine, and then suddenly the word you need just disappears. You know the concept. You can picture the thing, but the English word is gone.
Yes, all the time. I'll be saying a sentence and the word there's a hole in my brain where the word should be. And then I stop, mid-sentence, and I look at the ceiling. And the other person is watching me look at the ceiling.
Every language learner knows the ceiling look. Okay, so this is actually one of the most common speaking anxiety moments. You're mid-thought and the word is gone. Here's what fluent speakers, even native speakers, do in this moment. They don't stop. They keep talking around the missing word. Phrase 4. What's the word? You know, the thing where you plus describe it. This is called circumlocution, talking around a word you don't know or can't remember. And in American English, it's completely natural. People lose words all the time, even in their first language. The phrase, "what's the word?" followed by a description keeps the conversation moving and actually invites the other person to help you, which creates a warm, collaborative moment. Example, I was feeling, what's the word? You know, when you're nervous but also excited at the same time? They will say, anxious, thrilled, nervous, excited, and you pick the one that fits. You just turned a blank mind into a fun interaction.
So I don't have to pretend the word exists. I can just say, "What's the word?" and describe it.
Not only that, people love helping with this. It feels like a little game. When someone says, "What's the word?" You know, the thing on a door that you turn to open it. And everyone says, handle, knob. It's a moment of connection. It creates warmth. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you trust the other person enough to be human with them.
I like this. I'm going to use this on purpose now, just so people help me.
Leo, that is called charisma. Okay, we have one more phrase, and this one is for the hardest blank mind moment of all. Not the professional moment, not the social moment, the emotional moment. When someone tells you something important, something sad or exciting or unexpected, and you feel a lot, but you don't know how to say it in English. You want to respond like a real person, not like a language textbook. And the English words for feelings are just not coming.
Yes, this is the worst one. Because when someone shares something emotional, you don't want to sound cold. You want to show you care. But in my language, I would say something very specific and warm. And in English, I just stand there and say, "Oh, yeah."
And yeah, to someone who just told you something emotional, can sound like you don't care, which is the opposite of how you feel.
Exactly. Last year, a friend told me her father was sick, and I wanted to say something real, something that showed I was with her. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that." And then silence, because I didn't know what else to say, and I felt terrible, like I failed her.
First, "I'm sorry to hear that" is a genuinely good response. Don't be hard on yourself for that. But I understand the feeling. You want to give more. You want the person to feel truly heard. And there is a phrase in American English that does that beautifully, and it works for happy news, sad news, surprising news, all of it. Phrase 5. I don't even know what to say. That really means a lot. Slash, I don't even know what to say. I'm just really glad you told me. I don't even know what to say. This phrase is honest, warm, and deeply human. In American English, admitting that you're speechless because something affected you is not a weakness. It is one of the most emotionally powerful things you can say. It tells the other person, what you shared was so significant that I don't have words for it. For sad news, I don't even know what to say. I'm so sorry. For exciting news, I don't even know what to say. That's incredible. For a moment of gratitude, I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much. In every version, it is real, it is warm, and it is completely natural American English.
So the blank mind in emotional moments, I can just say it out loud. I don't even know what to say. And that is the response.
Yes. The blank mind becomes the message. You're not failing, you're feeling, and that always comes through.
I don't even know what to say about this phrase.
Perfect. You already have it. Okay, we have our 5 main phrases, but I want to give you 3 bonus words. These are the shortest, fastest tools in American English. Think of them as the emergency kit. When everything else fails, these 3 words will always save you. Bonus 1. Oh, interesting. Works in literally any situation. Someone says something you don't fully understand? Oh, interesting. Someone shares an opinion you're not sure about? Oh, interesting. It sounds engaged and thoughtful and buys you 3 seconds to form a real response. The word interesting is neutral. It doesn't agree or disagree. It just says, I'm listening and I'm here. Bonus 2. Totally, yeah. One of the most natural sounding agreements in American casual English. When someone makes a point and you want to show you're following along, but you're not ready to add your own thought yet, totally, yeah, says, I'm with you, keep going. It keeps the other person talking, which gives you more time to think. Bonus 3. Right. Saying right 2 or 3 times is a very American way of processing information in real time. It sounds like you're thinking, like you're connecting what they're saying to something you know. It fills silence naturally and sounds engaged. Right. So what you're saying is one of the smoothest ways to transition from listening to speaking.
Oh, interesting. Totally, yeah. Right. I feel like I could have an entire conversation just using those 3.
You could hold a conversation for a surprisingly long time with just those 3. But now you also have the 5 main phrases, so you're fully equipped. Fast review. 5 situations. I give the situation. You say the phrase before Leo does. Say it out loud. Speak with me. Ready? Your manager asks a big question and your brain needs time.
That's a great question. Let me think about that for a second.
Someone speaks fast and you missed part of what they said.
Sorry, just to make sure I understand, do you mean...
Someone asks about a movie or book you haven't seen or read.
I haven't seen it yet. Tell me about it. I love hearing what people think.
You're mid-sentence and the word you need has disappeared.
What's the word? You know, the thing where you...
Someone shares something emotional and you feel a lot, but the words aren't coming.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just really glad you told me.
Leo, 5 for 5.
Right.
Totally, yeah. Okay, your turn. And I want you to do something a little different this time. Don't just pause and practice one phrase. I want you to have an imaginary conversation. Just 30 seconds. Imagine someone asks you, "So, what have you been up to lately?" And your mind goes a little blank. Use any phrase from today. Start with, "That's a great question," if you need time. Or say, "Honestly, not much. What about you? And flip it back. Just keep talking. Don't stop when it gets hard. That is exactly the moment to use these phrases. Pause now. Speak for 30 seconds. Go. Good. I want to say something important. The blank mind doesn't go away overnight. But here's what changes. The time gets shorter. The first time it takes you 10 seconds to recover, then 5, then 2, then 1. And one day you use these phrases without thinking and you realize it stopped. The freeze stopped. That day is coming. And today, you got closer to it.
Hailey, I just want to say, I don't even know what to say about how much this episode helped me.
Using the phrase correctly and in context. Leo, you've graduated. That's today's episode of Speak with Hailey. 5 phrases for the blank mind. And 3 bonus words for the moments when even the phrases feel too long. I want you to remember one thing from today. The blank mind is not failure. It is your brain working hard in a second language. It deserves patience. It deserves practice. And it deserves these tools. You have them now. Use them.
And if all else fails, oh, interesting. It works every time. Trust me, I've tested it.
He really has. If this episode helped you, share it. Send it to one person who also freezes in English conversations. They will thank you. And next week, we're going to talk about something that almost nobody teaches English learners, but that changes everything. How to tell a story in American English. Not a long story, a 30-second story. The kind you tell when someone asks, "How was your weekend?" We're going to learn the simple structure that makes any short story sound natural, interesting, and completely fluent. I can't wait. See you then.
My weekend story is going to be incredible next week. I'm already preparing.
I believe you, Leo.